So here are my thoughts on facilitators. Facilitators are the largest and fastest growing group of people who are serving medicine or serving ayahuasca today. And the reason why is because there's a lot of curiosity about ayahuasca, there's a lot of curiosity about the medicine, and that also creates demand. And the demand is usually something that a lot of people will see and take the opportunity to provide the supply. Facilitators basically have access to medicine and little to no training in how to serve it. Some of them have a few months. Some of them have no dietas. They just learned a bunch of Icaros from someone and feel like since they've been on the medicine journeys enough times, they feel it's safe to be able to serve it to others. I know of the facilitators that I've sat with. I know where they got their training from. There's an ayahuasquera here in Peru. She owns a retreat center. And the pattern I've seen is that every single one of her facilitators that she has given the green light to serve has at some point brought groups of people to her as tour guides to her retreat center. And a lot of these people will come and they'll pay a lot of money for about 11 days worth of stay and maybe 5 or 6 ceremonies. And eventually, once these tour guides make enough money for her, she will just give them the green light to serve. It's a great way to promote her retreat center. It's a great way to promote her. And she doesn't have to spend any money on advertising. It's funny. One of the facilitators that I've actually sat with told me the story of how she got started from this ayahuasquera. She just showed up in one of her ceremonies, and the ayahuasquera just gave her a jar of medicine, said, "Go serve." So she came back a year later with the jar unopened and said, "I don't know what to do with this. I can't serve this." And the ayahuasquera just says, No, you take the jar. You go serve. Could it be because this person had a retreat center in Costa Rica? Maybe. Could it be because this ayahuasquera saw an opportunity to make money? Of course. This facilitator is now serving medicine in her retreat center, singing this ayahuasquera's Icaros, songs, whatever. So how much training did she get? 0. How much training did most of the facilitators serving medicine get? 0. I've sat with this ayahuasquera, and let me tell you a little bit about her practice. The lineage basically is hands off. It's all the medicine. The medicine does everything. Trust the medicine. The medicine knows what it's doing. I'm just going to stand here and sing and let the medicine do what it needs to do, what it wants to do. This is the result of that kind of a belief system. One of the people in one of our ceremonies while I was visiting this ayahuasquera went so deep that he forgot how to breathe. Literally stopped breathing. Now, the ayahuasquera leading the circle did nothing. She just kept singing. You know who saved this person? Other people in the circle. The medicine spoke to them and said, this person needs help. And they slapped him awake and got him to start breathing again. Why didn't the medicine speak to the ayahuasquera? I don't know. Later on, when he remembered the experience, he says, I remember I was letting go. I was welcoming death. Didn't want to live. Didn't want to breathe. Someone had to slap him out of it. So what would have happened if no one knew, right? Could he have died? Who knows? Another experience that I had in that same session was me. I was struggling. I was having such a hard time with the medicine. It was really, really, turning me. And instead of coming up to help me, the ayahuasquera just basically grabbed me, took me out of the Maloka to an abandoned field, empty field on her property, left me there with a bucket and a blanket by myself in one of the darkest journeys I ever had. Yeah, trust the medicine, right? I mean, what can go wrong? Trust the medicine, what can go wrong? That's the philosophy of this lineage. Now, I highly question that. Having sat with the Shipibo here, I know that is a lazy and untrained and unskilled way of serving medicine. When you blame everything that goes wrong on the medicine, you absolve yourself of all responsibility. When you're serving, you are responsible for every single person in that circle, and everything that happens to them is not on the medicine, it is on you. If you do not know what you're doing, you should not be serving medicine. It's like taking a gringo who comes down to the jungle and gets a tour from a native and shows them this beautiful jungle trail, and there's beautiful waterfalls and vistas and wildlife, and they love this trail so much that they decide they want to become a tour guide, and they bring people down and take them through this trail, through the jungle. And sure, 99% of the time, everyone's fine. Nothing goes wrong. Okay, they see the beautiful vistas, the waterfalls, the wildlife, and have a great time. But everything's okay until it isn't, right? What if on one of those trips someone gets bitten by a snake or a venomous spider? A facilitator does not know the jungle, does not know its dangers, does not know how to address them, right? Sees the snake, has no idea what kind of snake it is, what kind of venom it has, how to treat that snake bite. Someone gets lost, off the path. The facilitator doesn't know the jungle. He doesn't know how to go find them and come back to the trail. They just say, oh, well, sorry that happened, but the jungle is wild and untamed and beautiful, and we need to respect it. But, let's move on. That's the kind of experience you're signing up for when you're going on a ayahuasca journey with a facilitator. They're taking you on a spiritual safari in a jungle they know nothing about. All they know how to do is pour you the medicine and to sing. And if things go wrong and things get dark, you're on your own. Now, sure, 99% of the time, everything's fine. And everyone comes out with a great experience, or reasonably great experience, I guess. At least not a traumatic one. And the only problem is that 1%, they're the ones that have to carry the trauma. They're the ones who pay for that 99%. How do I know this? Because I'm one of them. I'm the 1%. It happened to me while I was sitting with a facilitator. I was deep in the medicine, I was open, I was vulnerable, and a dark, malicious entity insinuated itself in my mind and took control of me so quickly I didn't realize what was happening. Before I knew it, I left the circle, I locked myself in the dark room, and I was screaming at the people trying to help me who didn't know how. This thing worked me all night, and I was in the battle for my identity. I was losing. It was so scary and so traumatic for me that my teacher here believes it could very well have been the trigger for my asusto and why I carry that for so many years. The whole time this was happening, the facilitator had no idea anything was going on. The whole time this was happening, she just kept singing her little Icaros, completely oblivious that I was really, really needing help, because she's taught to trust the medicine, and the medicine just does what it does. Let me tell you what the medicine is. The medicine is a wild jungle spirit. It is primal, it is powerful, it is unpredictable, and it can do a lot. It can do a lot of good, but it can also do a lot of harm. Trust the medicine is like saying, oh, trust the jungle. Trust that wild animal over there. Trust the lion, or trust the tiger, or trust the jaguar, or trust the snake. Sure, 99% of the time they'll leave you alone. But if you don't know how to handle that animal when they become aggressive, you're screwed. Okay? These facilitators, I don't know what motivates them. Maybe they received a calling. Maybe they believe that they received a calling. Maybe they truly want to help people and heal them. But I will say that if their minimum seating requirement is 20 people just to show up and serve, they're motivated by money. And if they're willing to serve to as many people as a space will hold, they're doing it for the money. If they're willing to serve to more than 10 people, they're there for the money. No surprise, a facilitator can make a lot of money serving medicine. They have groups, they have organizers who organize these groups, they have a loyal following, and so, yeah, it's a great way to cash in. But are they really helping people? Or are they just providing an experience, a wild roller coaster ride? And sometimes people fall out. I know, that's pretty scary. You contrast the way that they're doing things here in Armaloka. The largest group our maestra will serve is about 12. Only if she has 2 or 3 other maestras with her. The largest group I've sat with here has been 7. And while that was going on, we had 3 maestras. 3 maestras who collectively, between them, have probably close to 70 years of training, experience, dietas, dedication, and work. And probably over 100 master plants that they are all bonded to. 3 maestros who know exactly what is happening with every single person in that ceremony. The lead maestra does the healing. She has to focus all her energy, all her concentration, all her attention on the healing. When she's doing that, she's vulnerable. That is why we have another maestra whose only job is to protect the lead maestra while she's healing. And the third maestra who protects the space of that maloka. So, is that different? Hell yeah. Do we need a quiet room to take screaming people into when the journey gets dark? No. Because the journeys don't get dark. Nothing scary happens here. You know, when you're sitting on a roller coaster with a facilitator, hoping you don't fall out of the car, here you don't even need a seatbelt. Because here you're on a train. And the train is on the rails. And the maestra is the conductor. And she controls the speed and the direction at all times. Nothing to be scared of here. Absolutely safe. There is no 1%. Okay? In my ceremony, when I was struggling, something as simple as blowing a pacho on me could have lifted me out of it. Could have avoided the trauma and the asusto. But our facilitator didn't use mapacho. Doesn't use mapacho. Worse, doesn't allow anyone in the circle to use mapacho. Huge red flag if you're sitting with a facilitator who does not incorporate mapacho in their ceremonies. Mapacho is the protector of ayahuasca. It is the most powerful protective and cleansing agent that a shaman has in a ceremony. And if they know how to use it, it can radically change the difference, the course of your journey. Our maestras in our Maloka, 3 of them, with close to 70 years of experience, they all blow mapacho. They all understand its power and use. It's a tool. It works. Use it. You can't just let everything go and just trust the medicine. It's not how things work. You're there for a reason. You're there to guide people. You're there to protect people. You're not just there to serve, sing, and make money. You know, that's a different level of responsibility when you're bringing people into that world. The things I'm learning here are amazing. You know, learning how to blow mapacho, how to use mapacho in ceremony. I'm learning how to do soplando with agua de Florida. I'm learning how to do chupando, how to give flower baths. All of these are valuable, important tools. These are tools that a shaman needs to be a shaman, not a facilitator. A shaman, someone who can actually protect people and lead them to heal. You know, the facilitator that I was traumatized with, there's another story. She had a circle where someone got violent. And while they were violent and rampaging through the circle, she just sang. She just sat and sang. Didn't do anything. Didn't know how. So other people in that space, in that circle, while tripping on medicine, had to physically hold down and restrain this person so that they wouldn't be a danger to themselves and others. And the facilitator just kept singing. That's a problem. Okay? If you are sitting with the facilitator and your journey gets dark, know that you're on your own. But don't be afraid to ask for help. Because while the facilitator may have no idea what to do, there could be someone in that circle who does. There could be someone in there who trained with a real shaman or a real curandero, or who at least sat enough with them to know what to do. They can blow some mapacho on you. They can soplando you with agua de Florida. They can sing you a soothing icaro to help bring you out. They can give you their energy, their intention, their focus, their protection, their love. All of that works. All of that matters. You know, large groups are dangerous. In a large group, everything affects everything and everyone affects everyone. That's why our maestros don't serve more than 12 at a time. Because in a large group, if someone shows up and they're carrying a lot of darkness in that journey with them, and that darkness is not contained, it can spread. Everyone in that circle is sensitive, they're open, they're receptive to emotions and energy, and when that person is suffering and they're struggling with the darkness in their journey, that darkness can spill over into someone else's. And that person who has to deal with it doesn't know how, because they don't know that person's shit that they've been carrying. It's not theirs. They don't know what to do with it. They can get traumatized. They can get a susto. So if you're carrying a large circle by yourself, you're being irresponsible. You're being just a typical salesman who wants to make money. You should not be carrying large circles by yourself. You should not be carrying any circles by yourself if you intend to heal anyone. You know, does a real shaman work? Does a real shaman have power? Of course. I'll tell you exactly how I know. I was in a ceremony where everything was going sideways. I was in pain, I was struggling, I was anxious, I was sweating, I couldn't purge. I was in like one of the worst rides of my life. I left the circle, I went outside, and I just sat there in my own misery because I couldn't handle being inside. It was hot, the noise and just the energy there was too much. It was overwhelming. I sat in my misery just praying that it would end. And one of the shamans in that space, there were two, left the circle, come out, found me, waved a feather over my head, whispered a prayer, and that every string in my body that was vibrating to a different frequency suddenly tuned to the same note. My journey cleared, my mind cleared, everything calmed down, everything became focused. That's what a shaman can do. They don't just let the medicine do its thing. They come and they help. And she knew exactly when and where and how to do it. So yes, sitting with a real shaman makes a real difference. Our maestros here, they don't sing Icaros out of someone's songbook. They don't sing the songs the same way every night. They don't bring a bunch of pretty instruments into their ceremonies. They don't have a beautiful celestial voice. Our maestra, her voice has a lot of grit, a lot of scratch, a lot of growl. She's got a lot of power. When she sits in front of you, it's the voice of a lioness, and it hits you in the chest, and it shakes your whole body. And when she's singing, she's not just singing to you, she's singing to the medicine inside of you, because that medicine respects her, because she's done the work. She's put in the years of training and dedication and dietas. When you talk to a wild animal in the jungle, do you sing it a sweet little song, a pretty song? No. You growl at it like a wild animal, and it listens to you. And if it respects you, it does what you want it to. And so, yeah, when our maestros sing, the Icaros aren't coming out of someone's songbook. They're coming for the moment, in the moment, for the person. The melodies are always changing. The words are always different. It is truly a different experience. It is the difference between sitting with someone who knows what they're doing, who's done the work, and with someone who's pretending to. So if you're going to be sitting with a facilitator, know how much dieting they've done, know how much training they've done, mind the size of the group you're sitting in, and also don't be afraid to ask for help, because someone in that circle might know what to do. If there's no mapacho used in ceremony, bring your own. Take it outside with you, light it, blow it on yourself. It can help. It can bring you out of the darkness. Overall, I think facilitators are providing a service. There is some value to it. They're exposing people to the medicine. They're letting people experience it. But unfortunately, the people who they serve keep coming back to the same facilitators because they just don't know any better. They just have these amazing experiences, and they shower the facilitator with praise and love and appreciation and admiration, and the facilitator just takes it all in and says, yeah, I'm great, I'm wonderful, I'm awesome, I can serve even bigger people, bigger crowds. Because the people who have a negative experience, the 1%, they keep it to themselves. They want to fit in, they don't want to sour the mood. So they get to take that trauma home with them and try to integrate it. And if they can't, that turns into a susto. And that becomes a problem for the rest of their life. That progressively gets worse. So if you sat with facilitators and you're enamored with them and you think they're amazing and incredible and can do no wrong, I encourage you to come out to the jungle and experience what real medicine is like. What real medicine can do. How it can actually heal you. Not just take you on a wild joyride.